And I wanted to go ahead and try to get this video out. I wanted you all to get some information on the proposal paper and the proposal outline, okay, that's due. So first and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the proposal paper assignment instructions, okay? I've updated some of the information within this folder, so if you've already looked in this folder, you're going to see a few things that are different, okay? And no worries, not a lot of major changes. The biggest thing is the rubric. We as a department updated the rubric, and so I'm following now the rubric that we use as a department, and so that's really the biggest change, okay? So with that said, let's pull this up. I'm going to go here. All right, so let's talk about the proposal paper assignment, okay? So with the proposal paper, what you're doing, honestly, you're following along with the research you've been doing all semester long, okay? So it's really, really easy. You've already chosen your topic. Your topic is something that obviously we chose week 1, week 2, right? You've been using the same topic for everything. And that's why I try to make, the whole semester we try to make it painless, right? Because you're using the same topic and you're developing all of your research, all of everything that you're doing. You're developing it throughout each piece, okay? So right now, obviously you're focusing on that particular problem or issue. It's not necessarily in your career field. Obviously, some of you chose to go outside of your career field, and that's okay. You created your annotated bibliography and also your rhetorical analysis. So you've done both of those things, and you'll begin to be able to see the feedback from those this week. So that way you'll be able to focus on figuring out, okay, now how do I use this research to make sure that I can build upon that to use it within my proposal, right? So now you'll be able to write your proposal. You should have already proposed some sort of problem within your research portfolio, okay? So within your portfolios that you've been writing, you had a portfolio, and I want to say, and let's go back up here. We're going to go out. I believe it was research portfolio 3, and don't quote me on that. Pretty sure I'm certain that it was. Yep, it was research portfolio 3. So research portfolio 3, you guys would have used that one to develop your problem, and start thinking about what problem you actually wanted to look at, right? So, that's kind of what this is all about. From that, you're now going to start thinking about your proposition. And that is pretty much what kind of builds upon and creates your thesis, okay? This paper is going to be 5 to 7 pages long. That doesn't include, obviously, your title page and your reference page, so keep that in mind. You have to use proper APA. We've been using APA this whole semester, and your 10 credible sources. Now, don't freak out on me. I've had a couple of folks, obviously, in my seated classes that are like, 10 credible sources? Well, yeah. You guys have already created, picked out those sources in your annotated bibliography. So we've already done that work. So you're halfway there. You already have those sources chosen. You've already done your annotated bibliography. So you're going to take the sources from that assignment because they're related, obviously, to your topic, and you're going to just move them over to this one, right? So we've already done that work. Isn't that great? How everything just slides right into it. We're going to remember to write in third person, okay? Remember to ice the quote. This is something I talk about within classes once we kind of get to this stage. And icing the quote just means you introduce the quote, you use, provide that in-text citation, and then you explain why it's significant. Excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied. Now, the reason why I say this is because you find a lot of students that will just, start a sentence or start a paragraph with a quote, and that's a no-no for me. Or end a paragraph with a quote. And again, that's a no-no because you're not providing context as to what the importance is of what why you're starting a paragraph or ending a paragraph with the quote. There's no type of context. So that's why you always want to introduce it. You want to provide that in-text citation, and then, obviously explain why it's significant. Okay. You should be quoting sources throughout the paper. All 10 sources need to be cited throughout your paper, but you don't want to overquote. So don't, don't just, slap a whole bunch of quotes in there. Make sure that you're not overquoting. You shouldn't have more than 2 quotes per paragraph, and try to avoid long quotes, okay? If it's more than 40 words, it should be in block format. So make sure you're using APA format. You can use some of the tools that I've posted within Moodle to help you with that, to help you kind of understand. And Scribr is really good, like on YouTube. If you go, if I don't have it posted, if you go to Scribr or just post and, type in YouTube, or just type in Google, like APA, different questions that you may have, or, obviously come to me if you have questions about something that you can't do with APA. I'm definitely here to help you with those questions, okay? We do not want to use contractions. My seated courses know, I talk about this a lot. We do not want to use, contractions. You can't. This is formal academic writing. We're using academic language. You guys are in college. We cannot use that type of language, okay? We want to include in-text citations with quotes or paraphrase material. You want to provide a reference page. Obviously, it's got to be organized in alphabetical order. The APA format, including a title page. Now, this is what I have to take out, and you guys bear with me. I meant to take this out, so when you look back at it, this may be missing. You do not have to have an abstract. There does not need to be an abstract, okay? I must remove this from this document, okay? I just got to find the document. So the abstract does not have to be there, okay? And of course, edit for grammatical errors, okay? Now, here's the great part. You're not discussing ethos, pathos, logos, but you should be thinking about how you can use those elements that we've learned to persuade your audience, right? That's why we build on these different principles, okay? You got to be able to provide a lot of evidence to help support your claim. You're using all these different things to help persuade your audience, okay? So make sure you're thinking about the different languages, different things that you can do to kind of, help, get your audience's wheels turning, okay? Make sure you're not using first person, okay? You're speaking to your credibility, but you can enhance your credibility by using credible sources, okay? This is the outline, and you'll see this outline if you've already looked at the outline for the writing project. It's actually the pre-writing. Oh, getting tongue-tied. Sorry about that. The pre-writing assignment is the outline, okay? Because honestly, if you write a good outline, it's good pre-writing for this assignment. So the first thing that you're doing, obviously for the outline, and well, matter of fact, hold on, because everything that's here is on the outline. So we'll just move right to the outline. Let's see, here we go. So here's the outline. First page obviously is your title page. So first part of it is your introduction. This can be several paragraphs, okay? So, as long as you just want to make sure, obviously within, and pretty much the introduction is all of this part. I can't highlight it enough, but this is your, your whole introduction. Within your introduction, you are identifying the problem, okay? You should be citing sources here because you're proving that the problem exists, right? You got to prove it. I mean, this is kind of how you show and prove at this point, because honestly, your reader doesn't know what the problem is. We don't know much about whatever the problem is that you're talking about. And it is a problem that everyone knows about, but you still have to be able to provide and cite proof, okay? You have to provide your proposition, and this is where we were talking about using that. And let's go back there. Here we go. But if you scroll back up within the paper assignment, the proposition is a should, ought to, or needs to statement. Okay, so you can use that to help you write your thesis. So you can use that to help you with, along with your reasons, obviously. Okay. All these things are required. So your introduction, again, can be several paragraphs. However, you got to make sure that that proposition or what is your thesis statement, make sure it's the very last sentence. I will be looking for that. A lot of students don't understand, well, why come my thesis statement can't be somewhere in the middle? Because it can't. Your thesis statement always needs to be the last sentence of your paragraph, because it leads us into your body paragraphs and it tells us what to expect next. It tells us, okay, this is going to be the first, the next body paragraph, this is going to be the paragraph or the next part after that follows. Okay. So you got to make sure that you're creating parallel structure. And in order to do that, you have to be able to have it within your thesis statement so that I know, okay, this is the order that I'm going to be following within your paper. Okay. Part is describing other solutions that have been attempted or proposed. You're going to explain if they were successful or not and why. That can take several paragraphs. You should be citing here. This, can take a lot. Okay, so make sure you're doing that. Next, you're going to present your solution, right? So what are the goals of your solution? The next part is actually giving me specific steps. A lot of students do not do this, and this is something that they lose points on. Make sure you say, okay, well, first we're going to do this. Next, we're going to do that, right? Or step 1, we'll do this. Step 2, we'll do that. I don't care how you get the verbiage across, but I want to see some type of verbiage that gives me a plan, okay? Lastly, in this section, you have to describe the positive consequences of your solution. So what's the positive outcome of what your solution is, what your solution is going to do, all right? The next part is arguing feasibility. So how can we get it done, pretty much is what this is asking. If it requires money, where can it come from? This is kind of where you can kind of make something up. I'm not looking for anything quoted here. You can seriously just say, we will need, and you obviously have to put it in third person, but, this project will need $7.5 million from the government to do X, Y, Z, and then explain why it would need that amount of money. And you can just kind of make something up. It will need to still be like an actual paragraph, but just make it make sense. Okay. But this is kind of where you get to kind of play with your imagination here, but make it make sense and make it tie all together with your solution and what you've read with previous solutions. Okay. Lastly is your conclusion. And you're going to, obviously have a full paragraph and then a call to action within there. You have to get people fired up about what you're talking about. Okay. That call to action needs to be one sentence somewhere in there, right? So you'll have your conclusion, a normal conclusion, but one sentence somewhere in there is going to get us all fired up about what you are trying to say, okay? And what your proposal is trying to say. So keep that in mind, okay? Now, and we won't go over that. So this week, all you have is the outline, and then you have your proposal, your portfolio, excuse me. The portfolio, you guys can just read those instructions so you can get that down. The outline is the biggest thing that I'm mostly worried about, and obviously that proposal paper. Please, please, please make sure that you, read through all of that information, and obviously make sure you read through the rubric, because you'll need that information. You want to start your writing process now. Starting it now is going to mean a whole lot more to your writing process. I know spring break is coming. I know a lot of you are going to want to take a break, and your break is well deserved. But you want to, take a little chunk here and here and here, okay? So that way you can, make sure that you have some of it done, okay? If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, hopefully there'll be more videos to come where we can kind of talk about other things that you'll need for this project. Have a great day.